All right, and here we go again. One more time. And let's see if we can go live without any lag. Zero lag is what we're shooting for. Let's do it. So, what are the lessons that we learn, the trials and the tribulations of dealing with this streaming thing? That's really what it's all about. Trying to figure out exactly what you do and whether or not you're going to be lagging every time you log in, every time you try to get a stream going, whether or not Microsoft, I want to call Microsoft out here to task that would actually maybe get their act together and actually get their software working the way it's meant to work. Instead of downloading new updates every other day that are broken. So let's see if we're actually streaming here, because so far it doesn't look like I'm actually streaming. It doesn't look like we're getting any kind of video. And if we get zero video, it's going to be extremely difficult to actually do anything. So let me see if we've got it. Here we go. We just got some delay. Let me see if I can pull this all the way forward. All right, so no delay. So for all those that are logging in during the restream, forget about that whole diatribe, whatever you want to call it. I'm actually live and I'm moving. Look at that. I'm not lagging, so I could be like, you know. So forget about all that. But you guys are here. We're gonna have a great evening tonight. We are in the 8 o'clock spot, so that's awesome. And we are going to stream now from 8 until 9. We have great things to talk about. So today, what are we going to review? We're going to review Celsius, and we're going to do it as a group. It's going to be a group effort, group initiative. We're going to look at Celsius. We're going to provide feedback, and then we're going to come out with a conclusion as to what our opinion is on Celsius. So without further ado, let me turn here to the chat and say hi to a few people that are bouncing in again. It looks like we've got Z-Bits. Now, number one that was on the first time, I think, was Chip. But since he didn't come back in the second time as number one, and it looks like Z-Bits did, Z-Bits is the first one on the stream. So before we get into talking about Celsius and reviewing that, you know what we got to do? We got to go over here to our trusty XRP tip bot, wherever it might be. Bam. There's our XRP tip bot. And what we're going to do is send Z-Bits some free XRP. Look at that. Let me see. Z-Bits. Hang on. Z-Bits. Hey. There you are. All right. Took a second to come up. Man, this is so awesome. I'll tell you guys what, yesterday, have any of you guys used Zelle? Because yesterday was the very first time I used Zelle, and I'm really wondering what's underneath that system, because I'll tell you what, bam, look at that. All right, sent some XRP your way, Z-Bits, check it out. So, use Zelle for the first time yesterday. It seems super efficient. Obviously, with Zelle, you got to subscribe to it. It's connected to your to the banking platforms, right into your app. Now, I was a little bit afraid to send and use Zelle, so I had to go over. I had to give some money to my neighbor, so I went over to him and I said, "You know what? I'm sending you $1. Let's make sure it goes through, but I'm going to do this in person." So I sent him $1. It went through instantaneously. The speed of a text message. That was crazy. That was really, really impressive. So, let's see. It's the 5 big banks that have created a backbone for trusted exchange. It works really, really well. That's all I can say. But if you're outside of the banking system, and obviously it doesn't work, but it probably doesn't work for cross-border payments. That's for sure. But anyhow, I just had to put that out there because it was impressive and it was functional. I was able to send money over to my neighbor right away, and everybody was happy. And so that's it. Let's see, George. The settlement doesn't happen real time exactly. No settlement, but it's fast and it shows it's settled because they know the money's there. Exactly. Great points. I'm glad, sincerely, George. I'm glad you're there. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you brought that up because that's the exact point of that it's really a trust issue between the two banks. That Bank A that's sending knows they have the money, and Bank B trusts Bank A that the money is on its way. So, and obviously it takes some time and zero cross-border payment. What's up, Dansky? Glad to see you here. Tina Hall. Oh, wow. A lot of people bounced in while I was focused on other things. Doc Cullum. Tina, a lazy fit girl. Haven't seen you on before. Glad to have you on the stream tonight. Glad that you're able to participate. Patsy Green. Of course, XRP Angel Connie, love to have you here. Glad that you're involved and getting everybody motivated here in the stream. So let's see, Crash Monkeys. Man, I'm glad to see you on here. It's always great to see you. Man, I've been looking forward to seeing some more of your workout videos, but I haven't seen anything come out. I know it's not so easy to make videos, but man, that would be great to see some more. So XRP Minute. Chip, were you out looking for Yeti coin? Is that why you're late? Man. David D, good to see you back. XRP Pajama. Hey, it's great to see people that are logging in that we haven't really seen before and taking some initiative to be a little bit of participants. So anyhow, let's jump into it. Let's not waste any more time here. Let's get into this and start talking about digital asset, cryptocurrency, whatever you want to call it at this point. So the first thing that I want to talk about before we get into Celsius, I want to highlight that China is this close, marginally close, to releasing its own cryptocurrency. I'm going to leave it at that. The People's Bank of China issuing its own cryptocurrency. Not sure how we need to feel about that. Venezuela tried it, fell flat. But here we go, China. Obviously, it's going to be centralized. Obviously, they see the benefit in being able to generate their cryptocurrency, to have full control over it. Won't be decentralized. It will be digital. It's going to speed up their circulation. They want to get the yuan in hands of more and more people globally, and that's probably the way to do it. But anyhow, so that's what's getting ready to happen. And obviously, the reason why they're doing it is because they're seeing the full potential of it, and they're also in a position right now where, like we're seeing with many of the other central banks, they're realizing that if they don't act now, we have companies like Facebook with Libra and many, many others out there, all these other digital assets, but in the payment space, others will come and do it for them, and they're afraid to lose their control and their dominant position over currency transaction. We're not talking about here about the minting of currency, which is up to the state's rights or the country's right. We're talking about payments and control of monetary flow. So when you have a RippleNet solution and you're using XRP, or if you have Facebook with their Libra, whatever it might be, the controlling mechanism is then released, and you have the central banks and the governments are losing their grip. So that's really what this is all about. And I find it very, very interesting as we start seeing things unfold, especially, and this is interesting too, because if you watch DNI, you get onto his stream for a while. You know, he's talked about, different components of geopolitics, and hinting or alluding to the fact of recessionary conversation or dialogue taking place, and now we're seeing that heated up more and more and more as we go forward. There's a lot of pressure now for a global pullback, economically speaking, and it's interesting today of what happened. So we see a big pullback in the digital asset space, but it's matched with a probably larger pullback in stock. So I find that to be, the timing of it obviously is, is very paralleled in terms of outcome anyhow. So just trying to look over here and see what we got. So, David D tuning in from the UK. So glad that I could stream a little bit earlier for you, so it's not too late. If we get on at 10 o'clock, obviously, then it's ridiculously late. So legendary, great point. With China being almost fully digital in their mechanism, but then you've got India. They're pulling back. They're trying to go fully digital with their currency, and we're not talking about digital asset, but we're talking about digital and the depletion of paper fiat currency. So, all right, enough with that talk. Let's talk about Celsius. Let me pull up Celsius. And before I do that, before I pull up Celsius, when we move over and we all look at the screen, I want to re-quote an article from Business Wire. And I think this is, it's important to look at this, because before we get into analyzing Celsius, let's look at what others have said about it. We don't want to detract from the importance or significance of what Celsius has been doing. They've done an amazing job business-wise as a company developing over the past year. Now, as we go down these bullet points, and I think these are really key bullet points. So let me share this. Let's do that. It'll make a little bit more sense. Let's see here. Let's transition over. Bam. All right. Let's get to it. So let's look at Business Wire. Now, Business Wire, I think this is really important. So Celsius Network was founded to represent its depositor community and to provide financial inclusion with services such as its high interest earning wallet and low APR loans available to crypto and stablecoin holders worldwide. This is their motto, unbank yourself, and we're going to see that in a second when we go up there. But it's these bullet points that I really wanted to look at. Originated over 2.2 billion worth of loans. Passed over 300 million AUM in customer deposits. It's completed over 160,000 coin loan trades. 40,000 members in 150 countries. 3 million in interest payments they've distributed. That's pretty significant. Let's see. They've paid depositors the industry's best rates over the past year with no minimums or caps and no fees or penalties. Let's see, paid more and earned BTC and ETH than anyone, returning up to 80% of its revenue to depositors. That's unheard of in the banking space, compared with Binance, which has returned 20%, and Nexo, which has distributed 30% as a dividend. And these are still good numbers. I mean, they're giving 30% back of their revenue, even 20%. Banks aren't giving a fraction. And then we have here 80% of the revenue. That's really, really impressive. The key is, though, as we look forward, how long can they exist by giving up 80% of their revenue? What's the cost of operation? Can they exist on that 20%? And that time will tell. So now Celsius is still the only fully transparent organization with data about membership, deposits, and loans available in real time. So interesting. I love starting out this way, because now we're going to get into it. We're going to talk about Celsius and we're going to tear into it. So let me go over to the chat real quick. I've got chats in different areas, so let me figure out the best positioning for where I'm going to put this chat, so I don't get too distracted. And to all those that like the big water bottles, here we go. All right. Rain, you go unbank yourself too. All right, so let me scroll up here. We had something here. David D. Oh, Spanish Fly, welcome in. David D. Mentioned it this weekend, but sell like 2,000 rank coin with 15,000 volume. If you want interest, consider Nexo or LBA Cred, as they have real volume and partnerships. Uphold Easy Pass. Okay, we're going to get into that. So, David, stay tuned, and we're going to dig into Celsius because there's some pros and there's some cons, and that's what we want to look at here. So, All right, here we go. Here we go. I don't know. I got my sunglasses over here, so don't need those on the table. Anyhow. So first and foremost, the world needs banking, but it does not need banks. I don't think that's true. I think we do need banks, and whether or not you're going to be a Celsius bank, a Coinbase bank, an Uphold bank, a Cred bank, or whatever it might be, you need a bank. So you're not unbanking yourself when you're working with Celsius. Celsius is a bank. They just don't have the banking designation. So I think that this terminology is obviously just a play on words, but they haven't received their banking certificate. They're not treated as a bank yet. But there's definitely a number of things that are missing on this website, and we're going to go down the tabs that I have set out here, and we're going to discuss each and every one of these components because I think they're really important. Oh, look at this. I forgot my laptop over here is dying, and I don't have my cord for this laptop. Good thing I have the phone in front of me. So, all right. So who needs banking? That's the question. All right, let's go down here. Their mission. Celsius Network, founded in 2017 with a mission to harness blockchain technology to provide unprecedented financial freedom. Income equality for the 99%. I think this statement is a little bit overreaching. I kind of like the idea that they're trying to give, economic opportunity to all, that it's not just about, those at the very top of the food chain, that everyone has an opportunity. But I think they're really reaching a little bit with that message. I think I wouldn't start with that message, in my opinion. And so we're diving right into it. If you guys have any feedback, go ahead and throw it in there. To bank or not to bank, get crypto. That's right. So big banks and financial institutions gotten away with greedy, unethical, and risky behavior. Yes, we know the issue that banks have provided, but banks do provide a necessary. Let's just say they're necessary in society. Mortgages, auto loans, business loans, personal loans, place to put your money, a place if you're using a credit card. Banks are necessary. The question isn't to single out that they're unethical and risky or greedy, because when we see the tides that turn and a Celsius or a Coinbase or an Uphold do become banks, then are they, again, what we just talked about, here's Celsius distributing 80% of their revenue. Can they exist, and can they continue to provide the kind of services and support to the consumer that they need to, or are they going to reach a tipping point and identify the fact, like Binance and the others that were mentioned in the article, that are distributing 20 or 30% of the revenue because they realize that they need to make a profit, and in order to grow and scale their business, they need to pay their employees, and they need to hire new employees, and they need to invest in new infrastructure, new technology, and all of that comes out of their revenue and their profit. So if you're going to distribute the majority of your profit, then you definitely, put yourself in a negative position. So here they're talking about replacing the current financial system with a new model. I don't think that that's 100% accurate. But again, I think that they're reaching, and their purpose here is to go after banks and basically try to take the place again through the way they're distributing. So would I phrase things this way and start it out? Not 100%, but this also does set the tone potentially to the rest of the way that we're going to analyze and review Celsius. So I know a few people saw my review before, and so now we're reviewing again. They've changed, they've updated, they've made some adjustments. The one thing, and I'm going to throw this out here right from the top, because if you guys haven't seen it, I've definitely seen it. There's no FDIC insurance anywhere listed, no third-party insurance anywhere. There's one statement on KYC. I've dug through it. I can't find it. If it's there and you guys see it, they'll let me know. But I haven't found any instance on this website whatsoever that highlights the fact that they are insured or in any way. Now, I've highlighted some key things that we want to talk about. So let me turn to the chat, get some feedback from you guys, see what your thoughts are, and see what your comments are. So let's see. Legendary. At least we're getting to the point where we have a choice. I agree. Legendary, I think that's so important. We don't want to be, tied to the banks that are manipulating, because we have looked at that. We have talked about that. The fact that when you put your money in a bank and you get 0.5% interest and you're paying 3, 4, 5, 6% interest on a mortgage, on an auto loan, on a business loan, whatever it might be, you could pay 6, 7, 8, 9% on a business loan, 10%. Now, here as well, within the Celsius network, you're still paying close to 8 to 10% interest, and you need to pay it off within 6 to 12 months. So in most scenarios, when you take out a loan, business loan oriented, you're not going to pay it back within 6 months to 12 months. Typically, you're going to at least try for a 36, 48, or 60-month term. And depending on what you're buying, if it's large capital, you can even extend it out for 7 years. So it really depends. So Legendary makes a great point. At least there are choices at this point. I just want to pause here for a second. If you guys haven't done so already, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you enjoy this content, if you're on, make sure you guys give a thumbs up. This laptop's about to die. Let me shut it down before it does. Make sure you give a thumbs up. Give a thumbs down if you're not enjoying it. Give a thumbs up if you are. And if you can tweet it out at this point, that'd be awesome. I know we're already 30 minutes in or 20 minutes in, but that'd be great to, to drive a little bit more traffic this way. So, all right, let's see what we got. Banks provide credit. All right, Dansky, we can already get credit based on crypto holdings. Yep, that is true. Patsy Green, XRP Gandhi banks. Gandhi banks. Wait, XRP Gandhi. Banks will want to buy your crypto. All right. And XRP Gandhi said banks provide credit. Yep, to that other statement. Patsy Green, better buying power in the future if you love crypto, especially XRP. All right, let me get down here. Here we go. Most of us are XRP participants. If you're trying to eliminate banks, you're in opposition to Brad Garlinghouse belief. Ripple is working with banks and not trying to eliminate them. That is a top statement. I love that, David, and that's exactly a great point. So we have a difference here where you have an organization that thinks they're going to get rid of banks, which is also, if you look at the Bitcoin maxis, their original intent was to replace banks and change the financial system, and that isn't the case. So here, we definitely need banks, and banks are serving a purpose. Great statement, great point. All right, here we go. So now let's highlight some of their points here. Your crypto could be earning up to 10% APR. Okay, great. You can earn up to 10%. Let's see here again. The 1% had their turn. So it's a direct focus. I think that's very negative. Negative marketing, negative publicity campaign, and whatever you want to call it. It already kind of puts a bad concept, bad thought process. And I'm already pulling back from wanting to use Celsius. That's my opinion. And I'm trying to, dig through this. And I'm trying to look for positives. But like Legendary said, at least there's choices, and there are other choices, not just Celsius. We have Nexo and some of the others, which I think we all need to go back and we'll review those again. So I love the feedback. Keep giving me some comments and feedback as we go through it. Here we go. We're committed to sharing up to 80% of our income. We already made a statement on that. I do like the fact that they're reaching out and they're inclusive. They're very inclusive of multiple different digital assets from multiple different digital asset holders. And then you can get an idea of interest paid. So I have no idea what the difference is between 4.8 and 3.75. I don't know which one is which. It doesn't really say. And as you get to the bottom, there's nowhere on here. I should know. based on reading here, and I've yet to find out exactly what that means. And so we're going to go through all my highlights. So let's see here. All right. Earn on your terms because you deserve free, transparent, and unlimited access to your assets. That's a great point. I love it. Yes, you do. 100%. No minimum deposit. I like that too. If you look at many of the mutual funds out there and other ways that people can invest and save their money, many times there's minimums. Even looking at checking accounts, many times there's a minimum to maintain your checking account or your savings account in a bank. So here you have no minimum deposit. You can earn, even if you have $5 or $5 million, you can earn on it. I like that idea. It's just everything else that is kind of wavering a little bit. In kind or in sell. Choose to earn interest in the currency that works best for you. That's also kind of nice. If you want to earn interest in XRP, then you get XRP. If you get, you know what? I think it's, if you're getting paid out in sell tokens, I think that's where you get the higher interest. They just don't, highlight that. So maybe if I click this, maybe it'll explain it better. Let's see, fee free, make a withdrawal at any time. I like that. You'll always have access to your funds 100%, but they're not insured. So what happens tomorrow if something happens and you don't have access to your funds and you can't log into it? And they have zero third party or FDIC insurance? That's super problematic. And then we're going to get down to some things you know, which means that this isn't accessible to everybody. Let me look at some of the comments here. David D. Libra made a similar statement about going after, what is that? WU after W9 put. I'm sure there's some. Put them out of business after. All right. Brad has been using that to call out Facebook Libra. It's working. Brad and Chris trying not to be painted with the same brush. Yep, this is nuts. Higher interest rate if you receive sell token. Yep, that's what I figured. Nuts. Yep. Patsy Green, it's not in Ripple's interest not to work with banks. Correct. David D. Correct RL. Secret sauce is interoperability and ability to connect multiple assets, currencies worldwide. Love it. That's a great point. What's up, XRP Carolina? I think they're insured through BitGo. If they are XRP Pajama, if you can find it, I looked through and maybe I missed it. I don't know. I couldn't find it. On their initial go through, I thought they had mentioned that they were insured, and I also never found it. I never found exactly who they were insured through, and I went, kind of drilled down, and we're going to go item by item. It's funny, too. Here we got the UK, calls in the UK and the US. I guess they're based over in the UK, and trying to figure out, I didn't see anything, any way to get paid out in pounds. So, I don't know. So, things that you should know. Here we go. Due to local international laws and regulations, some app features are not currently available. Now, if you're in, no Celsius network features for those in Cuba, North Korea, Sudan, Syria, Iran, and Lebanon because of high compliance risks. Celsius services are not intended to be used by users who are in Japan, New Zealand, Israel, and other jurisdictions, which may limit or forbid their use of our services. CellPay, unavailable to users in all of these states: Alabama, Arkansas, Connecticut, Florida, Georgia, Hawaii, Iowa, Kentucky, Maine, Massachusetts, Mississippi, New Mexico, New York, North Carolina, Ohio, Oregon, South Carolina, South Dakota, Vermont, Washington, and West Virginia. That's a lot. Interest earning unavailable to those in New York and Washington. No surprise about New York. Earn interest on stable coins is unavailable to anyone in Texas. If you're in Texas, if Sincerely George is on, sorry, you can't earn interest on stable coins. Let's see. Borrowed dollars is unavailable to users who reside in California, Delaware, Georgia, Indiana, Maryland, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana, Nevada, New York, all these states. All right, USD loans have some restrictions in all these places. So obviously a lot of restrictions, obviously a lot of issues, potential compliance issues, just a ton of stuff. So let's see. XRP Pajamas, they said the funds are stored through BitGo, which is insured through Lloyd's Bank. But where is it? Is there a link? Maybe you can, if you can find it, throw the link in there. That would be great. Let's see. John Crandall. I'm so leery of sending my crypto to any place but my ledger. Yeah. Yep. So I'm definitely hearing that. All right, so let's keep going. If Pajama, if you could find out XRP Pajama, if you could find that link, if you can throw it in there, that'd be awesome. All right, let's go to the next one. Next tab here, if it decides to open. So these are the points. They had deposits, withdrawals, interest payments, sell pay, sell token, loans, account details, security, and KYC. Here's security. Let me see. Maybe it was in here and I missed it. Let's go back through this. Let's see. Oh, there we go. You know what? I missed it. I found it. All right. There's the insurance. 100 million insurance. Let's read this. Let's see. When we see say BitGo is best in class, we're not kidding. BitGo has its own $100 million insurance policy protecting all cold wallet accounts. The accounts are protected in 3 instances: external hack, insider theft, or loss of keys. You can read more about their policy here. Okay, so let's go back. Hang on a second. Let's go back. BitGo. Hang on. All right, let's go back to that link. What did it say? All it says here is BitGo has $100 million insurance. How does it affect Celsius? That's the statement. But are they really holding them with BitGo? This is more about their policy, but are they really insured by BitGo? Hang on. Let's back up. All they're saying here is BitGo has $100 million insurance. That's great. But where does it say that they're actually using BitGo for their insurance? Let's see. Let's go here. Where are my coins held? Hopefully it says it here. There we go. All right. Problem solved. I completely skipped over this point, and there we go. All right. Coins are held with our custodian BitGo and are lent out to hedge funds, exchanges, institutional traders. Anytime your coins are lent out, up to 150% of the value is provided as collateral, typically US dollar. For a more in-depth security review, check out this article that one of our community members wrote up. Okay, so my confidence just increased. Coins are held with our custodian. I remember last time they had a statement that said that some of the coins or most of the coins or it was a weird statement that they weren't 100% with BitGo. So here it does seem like, there's more confidence. They are working with BitGo. So the insurance component resolved. There we go. I think we can all check that off. Do you guys all agree that the security aspect is resolved there? Let's see. Alex Yeet, what's up? Let's see. Okay, David, here we go. Hence, sell is an easy pass for me. Please review Cred. I actually had set up Cred to review. I think I did review it recently. But if not, then we'll have to go back and do it again. I don't remember if I actually ended up reviewing. I think I was in the middle of reviewing it, had some stream issues, and then stopped. Let's see. Has Arrington connection, much better rates. Yeah, I do think that there's some other points there, although they do require staking, 6 months term. Yeah, so, and they're also, definitely insured. So let's see. So Celsius is partner of BitGo. Yes, they are working with BitGo. It looks like BitGo is definitely, holding all of the digital asset that's put in. So, okay, through BitGo. Yep. 100%. KYC, we got KYC verification. All right, do I earn interest on the coins that are locked as collateral? Absolutely not. Unfortunately, you do not. We are able to offer such low rates on USD loans and such high rates on deposits, partly due to the fact that we do not pay interest on locked collateral. That's if you're taking out a loan. All right, the next one. What now? This is where it gets a little troubling, and this is where you decide, do you want to borrow against your holdings or do you not want to borrow? Are you better off borrowing or are you better off selling and buying at a later date? Obviously, if you can borrow against it and then you can pay it back, then you're maintaining your digital asset holding. Here, though, and I find it interesting because the question is if the asset drops. So imagine if you lent it when Bitcoin was valued at, as an example, at 12,000, and then it pulls back and now it's valued at 9,000. Your collateral is decreased. So if your loan to value ratio, so here it says, if the value of your collateral drops drastically enough to increase your loan to value ratio to 65%, we will send a margin call warning via text message. You can either deposit more coin to increase your collateral, you can pay down the loan to offset the loan to value ratio, or you can sell some of your coins. So they give you some options. Obviously, you're loaned against it. You can't pull it out. And it's utilizing as collateral, so you have to make those decisions. This is nuts. I have a bit in Celsius ATM. Rates are only 2.5 for XRP and 2.75 if I receive sell. So far, so good. Every Monday I receive interest. That's awesome. So there we go. So this is nuts. You know, has used Celsius and has experience with it. So a lot of the things that we're talking about, my biggest concern with any of these would be, number one, making sure that it's third-party insured. The fact that it's insured through BitGo and all the digital asset is being held by BitGo is a boost of confidence. If it comes out that Celsius isn't holding 100% of the holdings in BitGo, then it becomes problematic, and that would be a problem for their entire their whole corporate structure. So that'd be an issue with their company. Again, standard loans 6 to 12 months, no penalty for terminating and repaying your loan early, which is great, and you can also renew it. I think those are important statements. It would be better, obviously, if they can extend the term out, but you can. It says you can renew it and you can extend it out at that point. What coins can be used for collateral? BTC, Dash, XRP, ETH, BCH, DAI, LTC. So that's I think a positive, and that is it. So that's really going through. Overall, again, I think if we go back to the beginning, which I could have just clicked over here. We can go right back to the beginning. Some of the statements that I think, obviously they're going after, a crowd. They're trying to single out. They're trying to use a little bit of a little bit of politics and a little bit of fear mongering to a point in order to market themselves. I think that's a little bit of a detraction and a distraction from the positive aspect of what they're offering. All they need to say is, we're an alternative to banks that don't pay you interest. They could have gotten away with this entire statement here and not said any of it and just said, we're an alternative, we're better, we pay more. You're not going to get 3, 5, 10% interest earned on your money. That's all you need to say. You don't have to go into this whole negative spin of all of that. They obviously have some interesting positives. There's obviously, you need to know, there's a lot of places that you can't access it. You can't use their services. So obviously you need to know that also before you decide to use them. And like David D had said, there's many other options out there, and some of them are even paying better interest. So all important things to know. And I do believe I did have a thumbnail set up for cred. So I think we need to go back through, and we're going to do another analysis specifically on cred and put it at that. So that's it. I thought it was awesome. Let's see here. David D, volume last 24 hours according to Livecoin Watch Celsius volume, 15,000. 15,000? Whereas cred is 1.8 million. Next, so 5. Those are huge statements, David. And I think it's also telling based on marketing strategy, based on thought process, based on everything else. And, we'll see if Celsius can make any kind of progress. But those are all telling signs. Not sure exactly how long Cred has been around or Nexo. We'd have to go back through it. I've reviewed both of them before. I think we do need to get back in and do another review. So, Ali G, what's up? Glad to see you on. Let me see here. John Crandall, how often do they pay you on your interest? Oh, you know what? That was their interest payments. Let's see if this is interest when you're getting paid. How do I start earning? How do I calculate? I think my interest was incorrect. How is it paid? How do you determine rates? Does interest compound? How about let's start with this one. Nothing has to be done to start earning. As soon as you made a deposit, you'll start accumulating interest and gets paid out every Monday, every week on Monday. So once a week. That's awesome. I think that's pretty cool. There's something else that I liked about this. Hang on a second. And this has to do with, let's scroll to the bottom. I thought this was kind of cool if we can find it. Let me see here. Where is it? Oh, it's under partnerships. Okay, so let's go down the partnerships. Corporate partners. If you want to become a partner, we can look at integration partners based on their API documentation. Kind of cool. Affiliate partners. This is what I wanted to highlight, and I thought it was kind of cool. Methodology of growing their base. Unlike other partner programs that charge the users fees and then pay a fraction of that revenue to the partners, Celsius pays both partners and their users. So I thought that's interesting. So they're paying both. When a user comes through your referral link and deposits in Celsius, they immediately start earning interest on their crypto, and you do too. So that's kind of cool that they're paying interest to affiliates. I kind of like that. If you're going to promote them, and they're going to help pay both. They're going to help those that you referred and the referrer. So I thought that was kind of cool. A nice incentive. But they're paying out 80%. There's just my outside observation. I just don't see how they're going to continue developing and competing, like David D said. When we look at Nexo and you look at Cred, they're so far ahead. And let me scroll back up on my phone. Let me see here where to go. 1.8 million and 5.1 million on Nexo, which is volume over the past 24 hours. So that says a lot in terms of what's going on in the space. Let me see here. Dansky, loans on your crypto can be part of an exit strategy. No tax on taking out a loan based on collateral. That's a good point. You just need to pay it back. Or then you need to sell them. That's an interesting take. But you still need to pay it back. And I know that there are strategies like that where you can actually you take loans against your holdings and all of that. So maybe we need to look into that further, Dan, and talk more about that. I think that's really interesting. And I know it's been a financial strategy used by others in a different economic bracket. So that have a ton, and they find ways to kind of move it around. So let's see. Let me keep scrolling down. Been to the gym, Ollie G. Yes. I'm actually sitting in the gym. You can believe that. This is my gym. You just can't see it. So, all right, awesome. This was a pretty good stream. Enjoyable. I enjoyed going over. Where's the transition? Oh, there it is. There we go. So anyhow, here we are at the end of our stream on the HODL Report. We are about 40 minutes or so in. I really appreciate all you guys coming on. It was a pleasure. It was great, having the feedback that you guys gave. That was outstanding. Definitely helps the conversation move forward. Next, I'm planning on reviewing Cred. I think we should go through that. I think that's a great idea. And there's a couple other companies out there. I'm working on lining up another interview with a healthcare blockchain company outside of the U.S. we're setting that up. The two heads of the company, where one was sailing, then the other was is traveling now. So next week, I'm going to get together with them, and we're going to set up a date to do a live stream interview like we did with X Nation. So, and hopefully soon we'll do some updates there. And with all of that, maybe Chip will update us on what's going on with OTC. And we didn't even mention Yeti Coin at all today. So that's it. That's what we got. So that's my take. What's yours? Anyhow, tomorrow night, Thursday, 8 p.m., Chip, XRP Minute, will be right here streaming live from this spot. Not this exact spot, but right here with this crowd, with this audience. Look forward to seeing what he has to present, what he has to offer. And then Friday, we've got Rain is bringing up some big news. He's got some big plans. 8 p.m. Right here on YouTube. Anyhow, thank you guys all. Have a great evening, and I'll see you Saturday morning at 8 a.m.